Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and crew escape unhurt as his helicopter crash lands in Kaba, Kogi State. Professor Osinbajo thanks Nigerians over incident. Nigeria set for oil exploration in Bauchi State as President Buhari flags off spotting of Kolmani River 2 oil well in Gongola Basin of the Upper Benue Trough. The two frontline presidential candidates continue to crisscross the country to woo voters ahead of the February the 16th poll. And Russia suspends its involvement in the Cold War era Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, INF, following similar decisions by the US.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's local currency, the Naira, sustains positive performance at the interbank foreign exchange market on sustained dollar intervention by the central bank.
On sports news tonight, Ethiopians dominate the men and women events at the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, escaped death today as his helicopter crash-landed in Kaba, Kogi State. News of the incident was disclosed by the President's media aide, Mr. Laolu Akonde, on his Twitter handle, where he says, quote, VP Osinbajo's chopper crash-lands in Kaba, but he and the entire crew are safe. He's continuing with his engagements and plans for the day in Kogi State. End of quote. The Twitter is later followed by a statement explaining how the helicopter suddenly skidded sideways while landing at the Kaba Stadium until it halted on its side, a few meters away from the intended resting point. The statement adds that a total of 12 persons were on board the helicopter, including the Vice President and the Minister of State for Labor and Productivity, Professor Stephen Ocheni.
Of the group, and like I said, he's continuing with the campaign. We have just finished a meeting with the traditional rulers in Kaba. He's just been at the palace of of Kaba as we speak. He's safe, it's fine, everybody's safe and it's fine, and we continue our work.
The news broke. The amateur video surfaced online showing how the Vice President and other members of his team are being evacuated from the helicopter. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, then sent a Twitter message confirming that he and his entire team are safe. The message says, quote, we are safe and sound. Thank you to everyone who has expressed concerns, and thank you to the crew who managed the situation well. We believe that God will continue to keep us safe, even as we go higher. We continue #next level engagement in Kaba, Kogi State, end of quote. He also posted this short video to prove to Nigerians that he is indeed safe and has continued with his engagement in the state. Channels Television gathered that the propeller of the helicopter broke off close to the field in Kaba, where Professor Osinbajo was to meet with the APC supporters in the town. The Vice President aide, Mr. Laolu Akonde, as we showed you earlier, did say a few things to us. But this is not the first time the Vice President's chopper would crash land. On June the 7th last year, a chopper that was to convey the Vice President from the Nigerian Customs Command and Staff College in Gwagwalada, Abuja, was forced to land a few meters after takeoff. The chopper had earlier taken the Vice President to the college for the graduation ceremony of the Senior Division Course 1 2018 participants. However, while taking off, it could not ascend beyond the tree level before it emitted thick black smoke and landed on the same spot a few seconds after takeoff. The Vice President later left the college by road. Well, in the meantime, the company managing the Vice President's helicopter, Keratin Helicopters, have released an official statement blaming the accident on unusual weather conditions. The company says that it is, however, still investigating the incident, and the helicopter management company will support the authorities as required. The company also confirmed that there were no injuries to the passengers and crew on board, and they were all quickly and safely evacuated. Well, that's not all. The All Progressives Congress, the APC, and the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, have reacted to the helicopter crash involving Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in Kogi State. With barely 13 days to the general elections, both parties have put aside their political differences to rejoice with the Vice President and the crew members who came out of the crash helicopter unhurt. In a series of tweets hours later, the APC thanked God the Vice President was safe and sound along with his aides. It also prayed for continuous safety of its leaders as all the progressives of the nation and its people. The PDP, on its part, rejoiced with Professor Osinbajo in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Kola Olobodiyan. The main opposition party also called for a thorough investigation into the incident, stressing that the safety of the people and their leaders must always be guaranteed. Oil exploration has officially commenced in Bauchi State as the president today flagged off the spot-in of Kalmani River 2 well in Gongola Basin of the Upper Benue Trough. President Buhari had earlier in 2016 given directives for resumption of oil exploration in the northern part of the country. In adherence to that directive, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the NNPC, alongside a Chinese exploration company, mobilized to site to begin work. Our correspondent, Hajara Aliu, now reports.
Heavy equipment and personnel at work at the site of the oil exploration in Barambo village, a border town with Gombe State, in Alkaleri local government area of Bauchi State. President Buhari lands in this chopper and moves to the site accompanied by governors of Bauchi and Gombe states. He has come to inaugurate the drilling of Kolmani River 2 well.
Shall we all please be upstanding as we welcome His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari.
Today's occasion follows the discovery of hydrocarbon deposits in Gongola Basin and Upper Benue Trough more than 20 years ago. The tone is set with the Group Managing Director's proclamation of the prospects that abound and hopes to grow the national reserve to a set target of 3 million barrels per day by 2025.
Today, we are the first company to carry out exploration activities in the area. We are also planning massive two-dimensional seismic data acquisition in other parts of the Benue Trough, traversing Adamawa, Nasarawa, Plateau, Benue, and Taraba states. I want to assure His Excellency, Mr. President, that NNPC will leave no stone unturned in executing your directive. We will sustain the intensity of the ongoing oil and gas exploration in the inland basins of our great nation, Nigeria, and God willing, we shall celebrate even greater successes in no distant future.
Before making his policy statements on the project, President Buhari paid tribute to security personnel who died in the Lake Chad Basin while on official duties.
At this juncture, let me pay tribute to the university researchers and others who lost their lives in that regrettable incident. I also commend our security personnel who continue to make tremendous sacrifice to fortify the environment for the smooth conduct of exploration activities throughout the country.
The president proceeds to cut the ribbon and spins off the drill string to officially commence exploration in the axis. With Bauchi set to join the League of Oil-Producing States, if realized, the economy will receive a boost and also to the benefits of the host communities. Hajara Aliu, Channels Television News.
We'll continue with the president's explorations even as he did leave Bauchi State and continued in his campaign train. But in politics now, political parties are intensifying their campaigns to win the electorate on their side. In Oyo, Rivers, Niger and Benue states, politicians are trying to outsmart one another, especially as the polls draw nearer.
The 2019 general elections is almost here, and campaigns to woo electorate are now at fever pitch. In Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike of the People's Democratic Party addresses a crowd of party supporters in Akukutoru local government area, where he laments closure of universities and polytechnics in the country at a time like this.
They don't care that students must be at home. Is that proper? A government that says it cares for the youth, no wonder they can go outside and say our youth are lazy. Are we lazy? No way!
And we head to Oyo State, where the wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Dolapo Osinbajo, held a town hall meeting where she asked women to stand up for credible and violence-free polls.
Nothing is more important to us than our children. We should not allow our children be swallowed by politics. Let's advise them not to fight, because in politics there are no permanent enemies and there are no permanent friends.
Elsewhere in Niger State, Governor Abubakar Bello of the All Progressives Congress takes his re-election campaign rally to the Zone C part of the state, beginning from his local government area, where he pays a visit to the Emir's palace. The campaign then meets up with the party supporters who gathered in their numbers to receive the team.
In a long time, I haven't seen crowd like this in Kondogora. So this is to show the support they have for APC, starting from the president down to the councillors.
In Kaduna State, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Issa Ashiru, is on a campaign tour to different communities. This time, he is in company of the former state governor, Ahmed Makarfi, and state party chairman.
In the transformation of Kaduna,
the candidate gives an assurance that if elected, his administration will bring hope to all.
Kaduna is synonymous with PDP. And no Jupiter. No Jupiter. Will prevent us from where God has sent that will be there.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress Governorship Campaign Organization in Benue State is alleging that 5 of its members are missing following violent attack on its rally in Bajimbia. The secretary of the APC Governorship Campaign Organization, Mr. Eugene Alegba, blames the People's Democratic Party for being responsible for the attack, an allegation the chief press secretary to the governor refutes.
Armed militias stormed the venue and shot and dispersed people. There are a lot of casualties. We are still awaiting details.
They plan to declare the governorship elections in Benue inconclusive. We have this on authority. And what they have started doing is to molest, to provoke PDP supporters.
Political parties and their candidates across the country are stepping up their campaigns and making several promises to get more support from the electorate.
Part 2. After the break, former President Olusegun Obasanjo moves to douse political tensions in Ogun State, initiates peace talks with representatives of major parties in the state.